I wish everybody a great Tuesday. Today the video will be about gaming or racing. More specifically about my cockpit. I have some work to do on the steering column and some modification to do on the front of the cockpit so I can hook up a front wing to it. So let's jump to it right after this message. Our RickStuff Store is finally open, so go on spreadshirt.ca today to save as much as 15% on your RickStuff gear and accessories. Type RickStuff in the search bar and you will be redirected directly on our store page, where you'll find everything you need, whether it is for man, woman, kids, or even dog accessories. If you don't remember my cockpit, or if you don't know at all what I'm talking about, you can click the link on the top right corner and you will be led to the playlist of my cockpit build. So for those who actually saw my video, if you remember, the steering column shaft was straight, going from the steering directly to the servo base. But if you look closely, when I move the steering, the circle is not perfectly straight. There are also only 3 tiny bolts that holding the steering column shaft to the servo base. And for this reason, I don't drive with the force feedback at 100% because I'm scared those little bolts snap. And since I need to modify the body or the front of the cockpit so I can accommodate a front wing, I need to lower this section at this line here. But for doing it, I need to lower down the servo base. But since I love the angle of the steering wheel and I don't want to change it, so for lowering the servo base, I will need to install a joint around here. This is a very big joint, but I have some spare bearings so I can hold it. But I'm still not sure at this point if I will install the joint here between the 2 pedals or here right after the main bearing support. There's a big chance I install it here. I will have to make another support here to hold this section of the shaft. From here after the joint, the shaft will go way lower and I will be able to lower down the servo base. And about those little screws or those little bolts, what I will do is, since now my wiring for the steering wheel is not in the middle of the shaft anymore, I can simply install a filtered rod in the middle of the shaft, which is in the servo base, tight it very well, and it will be a very centric shaft compared to this welding plate, which is not spinning in a perfect circle. So this is the job for today. if you decide to do it, you won't have a wire here. You will have your connection here in the middle of the shaft. Me, it's because I modified it. After an hour and a half in the shop, I came up with this. I bought a bolt like that. It's a 5/8 inch bolt, 6 inch long. I looked for 9 inches or 10 inches, so it make the entire shaft. It was the longest 5/8 inch. So I have to work with what they have. I cut the steering column shaft. I weld it on the bolt and bolt like that. And I weld the washer here so it stops at the shaft, because this shaft is tapered. So my pipe, my 3/4 inch pipe, get in but about halfway. I will set the washer at the end of this shaft, and I will screw the other end at the other end of the shaft. It will be very tight. I will be able to put as much force feedback that I want, because there's no chance that motor break this shaft. So as you can see, my washer will sit there. When the bolt will be tight at the bottom, nothing will move. So this is the end of the bolt. I will put my nuts here, and it will be tight enough so it won't go anywhere, it won't loose, and it won't break. Let's see if I can screw that. The steering column shaft is installed. The bolt is tight. I put some Loctite on the thread of the bolt so the nuts doesn't loose with the vibration. The shaft is now complete. I installed the bearing on the shaft. It's pressed, it won't go anywhere. So now the next step will be to make the support here so I can lock the bearing at the right position. But now you can see how the U-joint will work. Since the two shafts are not perfectly straight, at least with the joint it allows everything to move without breaking. The servo base will be more secure, it won't pry, and the steering wheel will be even more solid with another support here. So the next step is to cut those pieces and install a support for the bearing. Now that everything is adjusted and at the right position, I can remove everything and start preparing the body for the finishing touch. I will start by the inside, since I need to manipulate the body a lot and I need to put it on the side and flip it over a couple of times. I don't want to make the outside in first and damaging anything, so I will start by the inside. Hey guys, I just finished sanding this thing. I'm getting ready to apply a first base coat of black. After that I will see what I will do. My first plan was to make the inside from fiberglass so it looked more finished, but it was pretty expensive, so I decided to just paint it, and I will try to make a carbon fiber look finished. I will update you later about that, but for now I'm applying a matte black everywhere in the interior, and after that I'll see what I will do with the rest. I have almost one coat done. As you can see here, I did cut that piece. Now I will paint this section. After that I will do the carbon fiber pattern, or I will try to do it. So I've done with the black. It was longer than I thought, so I will do the carbon fiber style paint another day, probably tomorrow. but as you can see, it's all black apart some head of screws. But I will have my yoga mat, my black yoga mat in the seat, so it's not a big deal. As you can see, my shaft is now done. I redone the entire steering column on this section because I didn't like the big piece of wood. There was a bit of loose in the shaft. Now it's very tight, it won't go anywhere, and it's easier to spin. I haven't reinstalled a piece here because I will insert my pedal set from the top. I reinstalled the front piece because I won't need it removed anymore. I will make some kind of angle here so I can hook up the front wing on the front of the cockpit. Here, even if we don't see, I paint black all the way, so if I change my mind, at least it will be black all the way. Here we can see the bottom or in the tunnel under the seat. I cannot paint there obviously, but as I said earlier, I will have a seat so it won't show. Like I said earlier, I want to make the carbon finish look alike in the cockpit, and I don't know if you heard about this technique, but this is shelve mat or jar mat you can put on shelves, so it's sticky, it's gripped, it's made from rubber. There's different material, different pattern in it. I didn't found exactly what I was looking for, which is not a perfect, but a very look-alike carbon fiber pattern. But this will do, I believe. I will try it. I will cut a small piece and I will try it under the pedal section, so if I messed up, it will be easy to cover it back with black paint. But I will try that right now. So it consists in just putting the shelve mat on the surface you want to paint. Supposed to use gray paint or silver paint. I will try with white just because I don't have any gray paint or white silver paint. And it's not a direct spray like crazy. It's more to create like a shadow because obviously it's not real carbon fiber pattern, and so if I spray directly over the shelf like that, it will do just big white square and it won't have the desired effect. Like that. I can go over with some black after if it's too much. But let's see what it does before. Yeah, it's a bit too clear for my tape, so I will go over with some black. I will try to be gentle with the trigger of the white can, so I won't have to spray the black over it all around the cockpit. But this is the purpose, this is the job for today. So I have one side done. It's in the sun. You can see very clearly the white square, but when the wheel, the seat, and all the hardware will be in the play seat, I believe it will have a great look. So what I did, I took the mat, obviously, as you can see it's all white now. I put it there, I paint on an angle so there's no direct spray on the wood. After that, I put a shadow of black over it so I can hide the very white clear and make kind of a gray spot instead. So I'm pretty happy with the result so far. So I will do that all around the cockpit and I will update you later. This is it, guys. The carbon fiber look is done. Obviously it's not perfect because it's not carbon fiber, it's just paint, but I believe when all the hardware and my seat will be in, it will have a great look, and it will obviously look better than just bare wood. And laminating carbon fiber in this thing would have cost me about 400 bucks, so I rather just use paint. But now the inside is done, or almost done, so I will start working on the outside of the cockpit now, so stay tuned.